Hello, this is Vaughn Clement, and this is a tour of A1 Travelog. This is for people that travel frequently and want to set up an itinerary, and if it's a pleasure trip, visit sightseeing locations, and before they leave, setting up all their itinerary as far as travel, both air and ground, and being able to track their expenses. Also to do some very special things, which I'm going to show you in this tour. Now, this is not going to show you everything. It's just going to give you a good overview of how this application is designed. This iTunes app was designed so that you can add what is called an activity, and this is the activity name, based on an event. You could have one event with many activities. Activities are places that you either want to visit or things that you have planned to do. And you can either put them in as a organized plan, or you can put them in randomly, and then on different days you can take those activities and go out and do those activities. In this case, I'm showing a proposed trip in April to Paris 2012, from Phoenix to Paris, France. The location where you would stay. There's the ability to track events. For example, if you're going to a sightseeing event, things like entry fee, where you buy the tickets. Do you have any discounts? Do you need reservations? Maybe you want to book confirmed reservation, the reservation status, and who you booked it through and the day you booked it. There's the ability to add a photograph to the individual activity of the place where you're going, and it identifies the size of the graphic with the 300 kilobyte limit because the iPad slows down if you get much higher than that. There is the actual itinerary with notes about travel or each activity that you're working with. For example, here's a flight schedule going to Paris from Phoenix, and then ground travel when we get there from Charles de Gaulle to the location where we would stay. The first thing you would notice in this app is that there are tabs across the top, and these are different things that you can do within the app. Each time you add an activity, it lists, and it will scroll down where you add each one. As you add the field in for the activity, it now becomes a part of the list in this portal. There is a new feature that I add to all my new apps called UDF fields. And what UDF fields are, it allows you to add information where there's no header or title and no input field in the actual application. So if you wanted to create your own header, say, for example, favorite restaurants, and then you could list them. Or say, for example, there's certain stores or things that you want to visit, or you visited them, you could rate them, and there's a long form here where you can actually say rating of this particular item. So you have these UDF fields. Now, this is an unlimited number of fields that you can add in here in a scrolling portal, and you can click this icon at the edge to get a bigger view of the portal screen of the individual records. The next thing that's added to this app is a calendar, so you can forecast and plan day by day if you want, or even hour by hour, where you're going to be and what you're going to want to do. That's for people that really like to organize everything they do, or as they're planning in a location like a foreign country, as they make reservations, they can put it into the calendar. Now, this is Google Calendar, where you need to log in using name and password to create an account. It's free, so there's no cost to it. If you want to learn more about Google Calendar, you can go to YouTube or Google Help, and it'll provide all the answers that you'd ever want to know about the fascinating tool to use as a calendar. This continues to be upgraded and improved all the time. The next screen is Maps, and this is based on the address that you put in on the travel activity screen. It will actually pinpoint it and allow you to get directions or save maps in this app in Google. Now, obviously, you need a Wi-Fi or 3G connection for these kinds of apps, but what happens if you want to copy a map so that you don't have to be near a Wi-Fi or 3G in order to use it on your iPad? Well, what you do then is you copy your map and put it into this location here where you can actually have a series of maps. In this particular case, this activity has a number of maps in it. And if you click on the item line at the end, this icon, it'll take you to the map so you can actually see a large view of the map. And this is done in Google Maps where you take it postage stamp size, picture of it, and put it into your iPad so you can store it there. And if you click on these, you can click through the different maps that you've copied different items for. For example, if I wanted to go to the Eiffel Tower, I would have a nice way of getting there. Not only that, but I could also have a direct thing that tells me how to get there by walking, riding, driving, whatever method I want to use. If I want to get rid of this record, I just click the X box here and it takes it out. Going back, I just click on this icon and it takes me back into the record. Move back to this record. If I wanted to go to websites and do research and find different things that are related to this particular activity, I could either pick a website or, in being really interesting, as you can see here, if you belong to Facebook or Flickr or, say for example, Picasa. Picasa is where you can upload all your photographs to Picasa, and you can do that through this application, and then they would be able to be shown back through Picasa as slideshows or still frames, and you can even do this with movies. So you can actually run your movies that don't have to be on the iPad. If you're using this on the desktop, you could store your movies still on Picasa or another thing like Flickr and run them within this application. That makes them easier to find, easier to catalog, and easier to work with. One of the nice features of this application is that you can pick any type of a website that you wish. It doesn't have to be, for example, you could see your Gmail account, Google, CNN, Bing. You can have anything that you add. The way you do that, just click this icon right here and add another URL, then it becomes part of your listing. So you could have all your favorite places in this screen right here in a drop-down list where you can go. And it tells you what screen you're in right now. One of the nice things in this application is a feature. You can also track all of your expenses by activity. So if I pick my Paris activity where I'm actually flying, I could take the flight costs and then put them in here, and it would show me the totals for this. I also have a converter, so I can convert any kind of a different currency in the world by putting in the actual currency value, putting in the exchange rate, and then I get the actual dollar value. So for example, if I get paid this in euros, I could go ahead and put the amount of euros that I was quoted, and it would convert it for me so I would know what that cost is. Or I could be out with my iPad and want to know what a thing costs. For example, at 90 euros, that's $119.15 at the current exchange rate. This is a repeat from the first screen where it actually shows you this kind of information for air and ground, so you can put it into your cost. Now this can include rental or even things like bike rental, a restaurant cost, clothes that you buy, anything that you buy while you're on your trip you can annotate in here. If you're in a cruise, you can cover all those costs so that when you pay your ticket at the end of the cruise, you'll be able to itemize and make sure that all the things were covered correctly. One of the nice next new features that is being added to my apps is a language conversion and editing screen. If you have a different language other than what is in the app, which is English, you can annotate your own language on this, and what it will do, with the exception of all the tabs, it will change all the text throughout the screens. And then of course you could have your local language where you could type it in the fields themselves, like for example Hitagana, Katakana, or say German character sets, or any special language that can go in here. By just using the language screen, you can convert it to those by just typing the edited item in these fields, which will replace the current information that's in there. So this is a short tour of this application. I hope you appreciate the tour, and this app will be on iTunes. If you need any more additional information, go to the support site, which is up here, and you can go ahead and read the user guide for this application to see any of the other features and issues that you might have with it. Thank you very much for taking the tour.